Okay, hello everyone. I am Anprasan. I will be commentating the race today. So today we've got koinu versus Jazz. It's gonna be a pretty interesting race. Jazz actually finished GP last week. The koinos do a very formidable runner, staying right around the 40-minute mark, RTA. So, this will be fun. Immediately going in, we have City Escape. I think they're setting up the timers real quickly. So I'll start with the boring section, which there's not much to it. Just don't hit a wall. And then we go into City Escape, or the real City Escape. Oh, I guess some people would fight me on that. They like the boring section a lot. Anyway, playing as Sonic. It's really about spin dashing a lot. Jazz is actually going for, or attempted to go for a trick called City Escape Skip, but he didn't get it. It's a really annoying trick. There is a few steps for it, not all of which are consistent. But it doesn't lose a whole lot of time to go for it, and it saves a good 30 seconds if you do get it. Anyway, so Sonic, really your main movement tool is spin dashing. You'll be seeing the runners doing lots of spin dashing. You also see them uncurling from the spin dash, and that's because this game likes to throw you in the air when you're going fast. And by uncurling a spin dash at the right time, you can avoid getting sent off a ledge or a slope when you go on it. And additionally, you have the highest amount of speed when you're starting a spin dash. So, starting lots of spin dashes and then lots of spin dashes. It's a lot of B presses. And then both coming into the truck section, which is pretty much the epitome of what I just said. There's a lot of slopes. And you're gonna try your hardest not to go flying into the air. And we may not see that a lot of time, you know, just, oh, you're going in the air, it's supposed to be on the ground, but it loses a few seconds every time you do it. Especially when you get into the upper levels of runners like this, every second matters.
Just made it.
I can see Jazz was a little bit behind because she hit a wall in the burn section, but now she's almost caught up. So now we have the first boss, Bigfoot. You're supposed to wait for it to fly around, but you can, by doing a homing attack right at the beginning, you can actually get to a box and hit it before it even starts flying. And then do somersaults to do it again, because usually there's a lot of lag after you hit the ground. So you can cure it really quickly.
This is Spider Troop Bigfoot. Bigfoot to headquarters, over. We've engaged the enemy and we're just about to hit con.
Hey guy, take care.
Jazz officially taking the lead. Again, these races can be really close. Seconds can add up over time. So next up we have Knuckles. Knuckles is an RNG based stage. You have to find 3 pieces of the Master Emerald, or in one stage you find some keys, but we'll get to that later. And there's about 100 different pieces that are in each stage, 30-ish for piece 1, piece 2, and piece 3. Yes, they are made distinct. And so you have to know all of them. Unfortunately, in Wild Canyon, there's this tool called the Shovel Pod that lets you get pieces that are dug up. But they don't exist. You don't have them in this stage. So there are a lot of pieces that are just floating around. So koinu got what we call a free piece. It's just sitting in the middle of the stage. It wasn't on her radar, but you can still grab it. They both, yeah, and because of that, koinu just pulled ahead again. That RNG was okay, not super. Koinu's is pretty good. And that's kind of the exciting thing that makes Sonic Adventure 2 good to a race, is that you never know when that stage can throw at you. So now we have Eggman 1. He walks into your bullets. It's pretty simple. Sometimes he walks to the right, but you just shoot him. As you can see, the seconds were within a second of each other, 0.3. It's a very quick boss. We're also playing as Tails now, who plays in the Big Mech. So kind of the first thing you're going to see a lot is people jumping around corners. That's in order to retain momentum, because taking sharp turns when you're big does not go very well. I mean, Although documentary 2 physics are accurate, but that's one way in which they're not bad. So now the races are really like tied up right now, which is crazy. Really what time comes down to the stage is shooting enemies quickly in order to unlock these gates. Because only certain enemies need to be shot in order to open each gate. So it's knowing which ones not to shoot and knowing which ones to shoot. They both have the trick here where you go behind the elevator, which lets you do what I just said. You can shoot some enemies through walls in order to open some gates early. Okay, seriously, this is like pretty crazy that they're so close to each other. It's like literally within like milliseconds. Doing a trick right there, shoot some enemies to open this gate. Also, a thing you can do called gate hops, which is you hop on those fences as they're going down in order to skip having to shoot other enemies and go up on an elevator. Okay.
That was easy.
Sonic Metal Hardware, the next Sonic stage. It's a lot like City Escape, though it's a lot more wide open. So you see another trick that's called spin dash jumping. Spin dashing makes you go fast, jumping makes you go up. Going fast up lets you go really far. And you can do that a lot because it has to open the stages. Runners get their first upgrade, which gives you the light dash. Sonic Adventure 2 is infamous for having everything be on the B button. So you have to be careful when you're around rings, otherwise you may accidentally light dash when you don't want to. Like when you're spin dashing, or as you'll see on Jazz's team coming up, a trick called storage. Because the somersault is also on the B button, and so what you need to do is that you press B, or you hold B down, which gives you the frog rate somersault, but it doesn't actually do the animation, and so you can just go right underneath these fenders with the somersault under. Then cancel the animation, like getting on the floor or something. So as we see, prime example of a spin dash jump is to just go on that ramp, and it sends you straight up into the rocket, skipping having to go around. It creates a nice meme of the announcer it's launching in 15 seconds, fire. Great timing. And then you do a short boarding section, you never see the skateboard again.
Yes! Barely made it.
So now we have Shadow 1, the boss fight with its famous intro lines. It's the longest unskippable thing in the game. Most of them are a few seconds, but this one's like a good, I think it's like a minute and a half or something.
So good.
Or actually it's probably not a minute and a half. It's a good 30 seconds to a minute. I'm just going to be quiet unless you hear it.
Faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Huh. You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you
fake.
eat those words.
There's no time to play games. You won't even get the chance.
And then you notice that the boss fight itself is very short as well. That's pretty much the trend with all the character bosses. They don't have really big health bars, and there are ways of manipulating the AI to just hit them really quickly. So now we have Green Forest. Jazz has informed us in chat, if you're like watching the restream. Not in chat. If you're not in chat, you should be in chat. But she's going to be doing the raw runs, which is basically you run up a tree. It looks pretty cool. If you're maybe perhaps a modern Sonic fan, you may be thinking that's not very special. Sonic does it all the time. But that's the thing that kind of started in Unleashed. You have to do a pretty weird trick. You have to basically change your gravity. Jazz, unfortunately, getting the mushroom that's in there. I'll explain it more when we get to it, because right now it's Green Forest. So like, it's a lot more spin dashing. Green Forest is actually one of the earlier stages that was put into this game, and so the floors on these ramps can be very finicky. But that's exactly the sort of thing that's going to be abused for running on a tree. Because the way that the game handles loops in this game is that it changes your gravity to be on the loop. And so what you can do is that you can go on the rim of the loop to get your gravity changed, and then you... Oh, unfortunately, the tree one's not working out. It's very complicated. You have to... Bleh. You have to do a very precise spin dash jump in order to keep your skewed gravity, and then land on the tree, the big tree right here that they're both climbing up right now. And then you run up it. Now they both perform a trick called bungee skip, because usually you have to like go around on a big loop and take this bungee line, but that takes way too long. So you just do a spin dash jump and go around it. Ends the stage, pretty much.
Yes! Huh, no problem.
Now we have Pumpkin Hill. The shovel claws that I mentioned earlier are obtained here, and the game actually forces you to obtain them. For the last piece, it won't spawn any piece that doesn't have to be dug up from the ground until you get the shovel claws. Which means there are no free pieces, or there are very few pieces in this stage, because they won't spawn. But it also prevents some really bad pieces from spawning, because they're found on the ghost trains that move around the stage, and they're really hard to get. Like they have pretty wonky hitboxes, and so they both get first pieces at the same place. We're going to the wrong mountain. And kind of how it works is there's 3 mountains. The game, due to the way the game presents spawn pieces away from each other, you typically get 1 on each mountain. Yeah, this is kind of the thing with lowest pieces, that when there are so many pieces, sometimes you forget where they are. And so, like, it's really, the biggest part of running this game is learning your pieces. It's often where the largest amounts of time save are. So Jazz is now entering Mission Street. This stage is basically elevator cycles the level. There are a few places where it's important to go really fast. I mean, it's always important to go fast, but it's extra important in order to make a weight cycle of some kind. So here you see them going out, Jazz going on the upper path, and that's in order to prevent some part of the road from falling, which gives her enough speed to land on that weight early with a good hover jump. You also, this is where you get the hovering mechanic, which, for some reason, if you jump and then hover quickly, you gain extra height over just jumping and hovering, which is supposed to slow your descent. And that makes you, it makes you go fast, obviously. But there are the few places where it's used, where you otherwise couldn't make the jump, such as right here with these cages. Jazz on really good pace for what we call Zero Cycle, and we call it that because we didn't think it was possible originally. They even discovered that the trick with the weight, which lets you save a cycle. Because really the main cycle you want to get to in this stage is this that hexagon pillar right there that Jazz is on. You're actually not supposed to use it, it's supposed to be for Mystic Melody, but hover jumpings are amazing. That's pretty much how you get down. That's the explanation for anything in this stage. Like, it kind of all adds up. Like, if you miss the earlier cycle at the beginning of the stage where koinu is at, you're not going to get it. If you make too many mistakes, you're not going to get it. And so really, that's where most of the time in the stage comes from, is making sure you get those elevator cycles. So Jazz starting with a very solid 207. Actually, that's really, really good. koinu, it seems, unfortunately bonking against the rail there, though you can also die. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm not gonna get 0 cycle, but she will get first cycle. If we're running about the intended path, we call those half cycles, because they run just a little bit behind this the pillar that's right here. It's about 3 seconds for it off of a regular cycle for a half cycle, and then 7. I think it's 7 between the whole cycles. So Jazz getting a free piece, an Aquatic Mine, which is good because she gets her first piece is in the Ghost Room, which is not a good place to get pieces in. It's pretty far away and you have to do climbing. So she does get an okay second piece, especially with the free piece, it's pretty good.
I did it! That was a little tough.
So now we enter, now Jazz enters Route Runner 1, which is the driving stage. It's for the most part a 2-minute 50-second auto stroller. There is still some quite a bit of skill to it though. It's long and there's not a whole lot of time save. Really it's about you enter this thing, there are a few names for it, like drifting, wiggling because you're moving back and forth, or swerving. Basically, it's an alternate mode. I don't know if it's intentional, but you do pretty much need to use it all the time. And there are quite a few turns, especially in the driving minigame, which you unlock, as the game will hopefully tell you. Because what it lets you do is it lets you make sharp turns, but it like makes you slidier, I guess. You like it start the turns earlier. But more importantly is that it uncaps, where it raises the cap on your speed. When you're shooting driving, you have a certain limit to how fast you can go, but when you're swerving, you keep any momentum that you gain from going down hills and using boosts. You also gain any momentum, or you keep any momentum you lose from going up hills or hitting cars and walls. And so it's important, obviously, to avoid those, and to manage boosts to mitigate the amount of speed that you lose.
The president must be over there.
But ultimately, all the times in the stage vary by like 10 seconds at most. Jazz unfortunately hitting a wall. Well, maybe not 10 seconds, 15 seconds. If you at least know the mechanics, it's really hard to get more than a 230 unless something really bad happens. When frame perfect is within the, I think, 214 range. But I don't think anyone's ever actually gotten that RTA. RTA, if you don't know, stands for real-time attack. That's compared to a couple of things in a couple different scenarios. In this case, it's compared to a task, which is a 2-assisted run, which does lots of crazy things that you can't do in a regular run. It's actually pretty cool. Shoutouts to Hazel, who was the main task person, or at least in modern times. I think there have been some in the past as well. It was also used in comparison to in-game time. This game's actually usually timed using in-game time, which is the timers that you see in the stages themselves. Obviously this is a race, so we can't do that. So we say it's real time because it's real. It's time in real life.
Almost, Sonic. Just a few more minutes.
Jazz now entering Hidden Base. Definitely the most technical stage for Tails. Really, this whole section, we do a Tails stage and a Sonic stage and the host stage, and all really technical. It's actually going for a new-ish trick called the pull hover. There are a lot of ways to go from that beginning section into the next section. I can describe them all at once. So, she just did a thing called Axle Jump, and after Axle, they had discovered it, and you just go over the fence. Well, they all end up right here. And there's other techniques that are varying levels of difficulty to save varying amount of time. It's pretty crazy.
Yo.
Hey. Am I introducing yourself?
Okay. I'm IDGeek121, and I'm a little bit late to the commentary, but I'm here.
You know what they say, the more the merrier.
Right?
Wait, that's the wrong game.
Alright.
I referenced Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I've never...
Sonic?
Hmm? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say something off topic. You go ahead.
So was I.
Oh, okay.
I was going to
Alright.
say that Sonic games have some pretty memorable / meme quotes sometimes.
Yeah. No, I've never played... You said Shadow the Hedgehog? They say on
Yeah.
Shadow? Yeah. I played the multiplayer at GDQ with Mustache. I haven't played any of the single player, though. Yeah. I've heard things about it. I've heard things. We'll leave it at that. Anyways, Jazz is ending with a 153 here. Really solid.
Yeah, she missed the pole jump and went for axle jump. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
But
I saw that, but...
When you're attempting a different skip, it's called GT skip. The reason for that is that it's a lot easier in GameCube version. You have to go through, when the PC version you have to clip through basically a corner at a really precise angle, otherwise you get pushed off by the wall. As you saw, if you don't get it right, it'll kill you. And GC, one of the walls isn't solid, and so you just go through it.
Yeah, it's extremely tight, and it's really scary, but a lot of runners really like it. And it was previously the fastest method, so that's why a lot of runners ended up doing it.
Yeah, so Jazz is now in Pyramid Cave. She's about to get an upgrade call it the Browse Advancement. Yeah.
That was a weird little thing. I don't know why she ended up. It looks like she just jumped there. I don't know why though. But now she's got a funky camera from that death, so this will make some of the movement feel a little bit weird.
Yeah, so anyway, she gets an upgrade called the Bounce Bracelet, which lets you fly, basically. It doesn't actually let you fly, but it lets you convert your horizontal momentum into vertical in what we call a super bounce. Basically, you do a spin dash, once again, going really fast, and then you bounce, you hit a wall, or I guess before you hit a wall. And then it all becomes vertical, and you just go into the air.
Yep, use that a ton throughout the rest of the run, even if it's just like little things, because lots of times doing the bounce and going up is just a lot faster than jumping anyways.
Yeah, and also because in order to save on processing or whatever less legitimate reason there is, it is that they don't intend you to go, don't have collision. So you saw a lot in Pyramid or in Hidden Base, and now in Pyramid Cave as well. When you go really high, there are no walls. They're figments of your imagination.
Yeah, it's really
Let's go
useful
through.
for us.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we wanted to see. Anyways, Jazz having a little bit of trouble with that one, the second door skip. It's not exactly hard to execute, but it's a very precise position, and if you're off just by a little bit, then you know, it can be weird to set back up, and it's really easy to put you on tilt if you mess it up once.
Can confirm, have been tilted by that quite a few
Yeah.
times.
Pretty sure we all have. So, unfortunately, this is just looking like a kind of rough pyramid cave. This isn't something she's exactly going to be happy with.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, I guess taking the death is fine, but she is still ahead. I don't know if she knows that.
Yeah,
But she's also in chat, so I guess she probably does know.
yeah. We'll see. Hopefully this doesn't affect the rest of her gameplay, because it sounds like the rest of the run's been pretty insane. I came in like as she was starting hidden base. I didn't see the beginning, but...
She got 0 cycle. That's
oh,
pretty good.
okay. Yeah. That's great.
Her RNG hasn't been... It's been average. Not too good, but not too bad either.
Yeah. Angry Guy first piece? Oh, I'm not a huge fan of this piece first piece, because...
I like it because it's fun for rare pieces. That's the only reason I like it.
That's true. But, like, I'm always confused where I want to go afterwards. Yes, this is going to be a green hallway piece, which...
No, that's the one in the core, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Oh, it's the one in the core. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Like I said, rare pieces.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
appear very often.
Okay. Yeah, never mind. That would have caught me off guard. Only one is... Okay. This isn't too bad of a piece, actually. She's just gonna go for booty clip, it looks like.
Yeah.
Koinu's actually at the end of her pyramid cave. This is gonna be...
That's it?
This is gonna be pretty good.
It's not sub 2, unfortunately, because he doesn't go for the loose yet, but it's still pretty close.
Yeah. It's gonna definitely bring it back after what happened with Jazz.
Yeah, well, Koinu's had some bit of a rough time too. I mean, as you saw it, she died in GC skip.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I guess it comes down to Death Chamber RNG, because Death Chamber has... I mean, it's like a bunch of small hallways, and so if you get bad RNG, it's a lot more walking than if you get good RNG.
Yeah. A lot of the clip outs are really weird to do on this stage, so it does end up most of the time just having you run around, which is not very fun. Anyways, Big Marshmallow's a pretty good first piece, because you can pretty much go anywhere from here, and you can even death strat here and sometimes get it, so...
That's why she
good
didn't go for
piece to
Death Strats with Ghost Protects the Goddess, but she may go for Booty Clip.
Yeah.
Yes, it is in fact actually called Booty Clip, not Beauty Clip. You can blame Darko for that.
Yeah. Oh no!
Oh!
She was having trouble getting behind it, and that happens sometimes. So that's actually... That's gonna make this really rough. She's gonna have to go through the middle here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jazz just utterly destroyed King Boon Boo. You can kill it in one cycle because Knuckles actually runs really fast. I think it's faster than Sonic on the ground.
I don't think it's like faster. I don't think it's faster, but I don't know. It seems really close. It might be. I think spin dash chaining Sonic still goes faster, but running speed might be about the same. Jazz is having a little bit of a rough time with these super bounces, which it's the same premise as the super bounces she was doing earlier, but this time the wall is tiny. So a lot of runners have trouble here because it's just a really tight bounce that you have to hit.
Yeah, and Koinu actually just missed a free piece, Welcome to Patrol.
Oh man.
That's unfortunate. That could have been a really good way to save the booty clip power that she was having, but unfortunately it's not meant to be.
I found him.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because Jazz is getting ballerinaed, which loses a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh, Okay, she goes ahead and finishes it out. This boss is crazy. It's really a run killer for a lot of people. Lots of potential to choke. I think it's like the best people. The best players still have trouble with it.
Ghost?
So we'll see Koinu going for her first cycle, Boom Boo, as Jazz is trying to hit a first cycle Eternal Engine.
Yeah, but cycles in Eternal Engine, no. It's only like a few seconds, isn't it?
Wait, you mean that it saves? Or what do you mean
Yeah.
it's only a few seconds?
For the different cycles.
Yeah, I think it saves like maybe 6 seconds. Something like that. Like, it's not a huge loss if you miss it. But I know Jazz typically has high standards for this stage. You know, she put a lot of time grinding it out.
Oh. What you're thinking about King Boo is if you miss the first cycle, it's actually faster to restart than to go through the rest of the fight. Because it really takes forever. Like, I think King Boo first cycle is like the biggest time saved in the run. Even more than all the skips.
Yeah.
Well, it's not combined, but like...
It's like, if you miss the last hit, the final cycle takes like almost a minute to like finish before you can actually hit the hourglass. So it is worth it just to reset and get like a 20-second hit on like the first cycle and try for it again.
So that's now approaching the point where we do Eternal Engine skip.
Not quite. Not quite.
Fake out.
Yeah.
Gotta keep us on our toes.
Okay. Yeah, she didn't have quite enough height for that one jump she was trying to go for, but she hit the wall. She hit the platform, and lots of times when you hit like a wall or something in this game, it'll actually drag you down faster. So if you're ever in a situation like that, you should like have the awareness to know to bail out early. It's really hard to recognize.
Yeah. Koinu was having a really good egg golem, getting 3 super bounces in 4 attempts.
Yeah.
And then after the 3rd hit, he does like a headbang, and then you just hit him there, then hit him one more time.
Yep.
She even gets the swag.
Yeah.
Swag shot.
Gotta go for the little bit of the overkill. But yeah, 42 is a pretty respectable time. Jazz finishing out Eternal Engine. Couple issues again, but you know, she makes it. That's what really matters. And she's still pretty far ahead. She's still like 2 minutes ahead over Koinu. So very respectable lead. I'll have to see what sort of pieces she gets here on Meteor Herd. Meteor Herd also has like a pretty wide variance between the times you can get, but it doesn't end up being as bad as Death Chamber a lot of the time. There are just like a couple particularly bad pieces that make it happen, but the movement around the stage is, in comparison, a lot more simple.
She got a pretty good first piece. It's in the center of the stage, so again, you can go anywhere. So she gets both dangerous liquids. So you just go 2 artificial chaos, not 1.
Yeah, this is a pretty good layout. This will be sub 40. Just about. Yeah.
Aw, so close.
That's like a little above average as far as your knuckles times will be for Meteor Herd. I'd say average would probably be like a 45. That was a pretty good layout. Oop.
Oh, saving it.
Yeah.
On Koinu's.
I think Koinu had it, but she second guessed herself. So, but that's fair. Just make sure that you get it first try, right? That's like the big thing.
So now Jazz entering the Rouge fight. Your parents just run up and spam A and B. Well, you don't spam them, but you press press him in like a, if you get a good rhythm down, you just totally like demolish Rouge.
Yeah. Just repeated drill vibes over and over again. And as long as you're over Rouge, Rouge's AI doesn't really know what to do, so you can get the free hits. And it's a lot better than trying to like punch or whatever.
Yes. So because like when you're on the ground, she will kick you, and if you don't have any rings, like they take you by surprise. But you think you got her, and then like you're dead.
I did it!
Jazz is gonna be going for CGSS. I know she's been going for it really recently, and I have the confidence that she's gonna try to make it happen right now.
Better next time.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, there are 2 skips in the stage. They both start in the same place. One goes straight to the golden ring, and one does a couple of things. And so the one that goes straight to the golden ring, call it skip, because it skips doing a regular skip.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
It's a pretty elegant naming solution. Kind of makes sense.
Kinda.
Yeah. And not quite out of bounds. That looked pretty good. But she will keep going for it.
It's close to our left.
It's pretty hard to get out of bounds here. It's first off, I mean, you can't even see like your position when you're off the camera like that. And second off, it's a pretty tight squeeze between 2 different kill planes. And you also have to make sure that you get through the kill planes with enough speed that you can make it towards the end. So it's a lot of little factors.
And Koinu getting just about the same mid-year hurt RNG as Jazz, middle, and then top, and then lower middle. Different pieces, but same place.
Yeah, pretty similar times. Yeah, Jazz with the third try on the CGSS. You gotta also recognize that getting a third try CGSS is like barely slower than getting a first try CGS. So that's like one thing to keep in mind. Even if she does die, if Koinu goes for CGS, then Koinu will maybe just be barely faster if she does it first try.
I think Justice beat Eggman. Actually, I'm gonna admit that our stream is frozen up a little bit right now, and so I think we skipped the entire Eggman fight. Because again, it's pretty short. You have to shoot him, avoid getting shot by him, avoid getting killed by his laser.
Yeah, I saw the fight. She got extremely good fight. It was 14.7, I think.
Oh, it's just me.
So
okay.
yeah, yeah. It was sometimes it's kind of weird with this stuff, but yeah. Jazz having a little bit of a mess up at the start of FR. I know personally, I have a hard time with FR. I have like a really specific setup I do to get my timing down, and if I end up messing up one part, then like I feel like just restarting the stage. It's one of those kinds of stages where you feel like you have to, like, messing anything up will throw you way off because this ending part is all timing based.
Yeah, so Crazy Gadget and Ryan Rush both kind of loop around on themselves. So if you just go out of bounds and avoid some kill planes, you can go straight to the end.
It's a really interesting contrast to, like, the beginning of the game where, like, you're kind of playing through the stages normally, and then pretty much all the space stages, you just skip to the goal ring. You don't even play the second half of the stages.
Yeah, but when Final Rush is safe, the first half.
Oh yeah. You're in bounds for about 15 seconds. So yeah. Jazz clearing this with plenty of height.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be going to Shadow 2 right now.
Yeah, he's going for his regular CGS. So you get to see both, which is great.
Yeah. CGS is a bit more involved, but it's also a little bit easier to learn. I'd say it's harder execution-wise, but the instructions are a lot more clear. So
Oh, unfortunately takes a death.
yeah,
Wait, you actually think that regular CGS is harder than CGSS?
once you figure out CGSS, I think it's not too bad. But it's like lots of factors. Like you have to have a really good spin dash jump there. You can waste a lot of time in the acid room by not being able to clip on the ledge, and that's just frustrating. And then like as you're falling, the camera's tilting super weird. When you do CGSS, the camera movement, like moving with the camera, isn't way too hard. The hard part about that's just getting out of bounds. But yeah,
That's fair.
CGSS is definitely like easier to understand as a trick.
Yeah, Suggest just finished. 40-30, not too bad.
Yeah. So there's like a pretty specific spot that you have to land at to hit the goal ring. It's the same spot you have to hit, of course, if you do CGSS, but you can actually kind of see where you're supposed to be when you're doing it this way because you got a forward-facing camera. But one of the hard parts about lining it up is that you can see the camera kind of pans to the left around Sonic, and then the stick movement changes along with that too. So it makes it a little bit disorienting. And yeah, see, like, getting on the ledge there can sometimes be a pain in the butt. Keep in mind, there's another alternate strat that you can use. Instead of trying to bounce on that lip, some runners opt to actually run onto the little diagonal area there and spin dash up.
Yeah, I
Because
think that one, I feel like I've seen that one more. It seems
Yeah.
more consistent. The bounce.
Yeah, it's very consistent. The bounce is, I guess, consistent, but you have to make sure that you're facing a certain direction, and sometimes it can be kind of weird. But yeah, Koinu going ahead and finishing CGS.
Barely made it.
She's hopefully going to be finishing out the rest of the race really strong. Crazy Gadget is again another big run killer. Lots of areas that you can mess up pretty easily. Oh yeah, you get to see an Eggman fight now.
Yeah, I do.
Let's go.
I mean, I saw the Eggman 1 fights, but like, oh, those were really interesting.
Yeah, this is Eggman stepping it up for this one. The big thing for
He
this
does
fight,
something. Go ahead.
the big thing for this fight is to make sure that you don't accidentally punch Eggman.
I did it!
Like, you have to keep some spacing between you and him. You know if Koinu goes for FR skip also?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's hard to say, because she took a pretty decently, I think it was like over a year, like hiatus from the game. I know she's gotten back into it recently, like not just for the tournament. But I don't know where she's at right now.
Okay. Yeah. This is another skip that, like, I'd say most runners learn this. You think a lot of... I feel like a lot of runners now have been learning this even before, like, sub 50.
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. I
on
feel
my
like
list of-
I feel
on
like
my
it's
list,
been a
but-
really recent development though. Like I feel like it used to be you learned this between 45 and 40, but I feel like a lot of earlier runners have been learning this trick.
Yeah, well, people have been seeing a lot in the Discord that it's an easy trick to learn. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why.
Yeah. I ended up learning this after learning CGS, and yeah, looking back on it now, this is like, it does seem a lot easier to execute. but the skip always kind of scared me when I was first trying to figure this out.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you have to go out of bounds, you're just like falling for 30 seconds. Then you have to turn and fall for another 30 seconds. You can't see what you're doing. You just die if you mess it up.
Yeah, you just gotta hope and pray.
No problem.
The worst thing is when you're on PB pace by like 20 seconds, and then you turn a little too early, and then you see Sonic burn up in flames, and you're just like, you know the run's over. You're just like, it's a little scary.
Before this is over, I'll show you the true power of chaos control!
Ooh, that's a really wonky camera angle, and also the platform's lowering.
Is it race against time? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard. Like at the very beginning of the fight.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it pretty soon. You're gonna have to do some weird things in order to avoid the platform falling.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of times it's best if you actually swerve to the right of Shadow, and that'll slow him down a lot. Instead, you can get your first hit pretty fast.
I am the ultimate light.
Game over, Shadow!
Koinu ending with a 46-24.
Man, that's close to my username. Which is 46-4.
Yeah. So good job to both the runners.
Yeah. The next race coming up is in 4 minutes. It's Jazz once again versus Stellar. I'm assuming it's going to be here because that's a lot easier, but I could be wrong.
I don't see why they changed channels, but double checking. It looks like it is set up for Speed Gaming 4. So yeah, I think
Double feature.
Yeah. Stellar's gonna be an up-and-coming runner. I think he has a 53 right now. He's been putting in a really heavy grind, though. Like, since the tournament started. He's gotten his PB down, like by over 5 minutes, I think. I think he might have had, like, a little over an hour when the tourney started. So, we'll see what he can pull off. Yeah, so we will be right back.